Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how a REST API works and what all operations are performed when a REST API hits our server. So the basic operations of a REST API are known as CRUD. CRUD refers to create, read, update and delete. So create refers to something we are writing to the database. We are creating a new data rows. Reading is to get the data from the database. Update is to update something, and delete as to delete some data from the database. So we have basic four operations on which basis the CRUD works. These are get, post, put and delete. Get refers to the read operation, like the client. We have the three actors: client, server and databases. The client gets a request to the server for a get request, and server goes to the database and collects the data from it and returns it back to the client. This is the work of our read operation. Then create operation is performed by the post request. Post request, as the client requests the server to post some data, server goes to database, writes some data on the database, and the status result back to the client of success or the failure. Put and delete are some extensions of post only. In post we are creating new data. Put is used to update some data. So when the client requests the server to update some data, server goes to the database, updates the rows and gets back to the client with the server with the error status or result. And delete is again to delete some data from the database. I will take an example here, like we use Instagram in our life. So when we firstly click on the Instagram, we get news feed or post of other person we are following. So Instagram server gets to the database, as we are the client, server is the server of the Instagram, and database is the whatever Instagram database uses. So we hit the get request as soon as we open the app. We get some recent data from the database about what post somebody has posted, and we get back to our UI page. So this is a get request. Now if we want to post our new picture on Instagram, we hit the post request, post that photo. That photo gets stored in the database and we get a status. Now suppose I have posted a photo. Now I want to edit its caption. So edit task is the update one. So the client would hit the put request with update the data in the database, and we get the status. So now my photogram is way too old, so I want to delete that from my Instagram account. I would just hit the delete request, and the photo will get deleted from the database, and we get the result back from the server, like it is deleted or not. So the basic task of REST API was create, read, update and delete. Now I will also show you a project demo, like how CRUD API works, or what all actions are performed with the REST API. But before moving towards the project, I would like to just discuss a basic concept of authentication. Authentication is a basic required thing. Like we do not want everybody to access our database, or I do not want anybody to peek into my Instagram account, handle with my photos. So authentication is a basic need, we all know that. So in the project I am going to discuss, I have used JWT authentication. JWT refers to JSON Web Token. The basic idea behind JWT is that when I provide my credentials, the email and password or anything, username or password, JWT recognizes that password stored in my database, and compares my previous password and the password I have entered this time. And if the password is correctly compared, or if the password is correct, I get access to the database, that I am authorized, otherwise I am forbidden. So, if let's imagine a case like if there is a hacker and it hacks into it hacks into our database, so it gets all our passwords and posts we have created. So we want to prevent any hacker. Like if there is a chance it has cracked to our database, so we need to enhance our security. Like he is not able to understand what is being stored in the database. So the best way to prevent this is using hashed password. Like if my password is like if my password is 1234, so I would not directly store my password 1234 as a string in database, but I will hash that password in some non-readable formats and store that, and only my server understands what password is stored in the database, and when it gets back some password from the database, it can decrypt that password to get the original password. So hash passwords are to prevent anyone understanding the password by directly looking at it. The other thing we use to enhance the security of hashing is salts. Salts are like some security key which, when not available to the user, cannot decrypt the password. Like if I am storing the password 1234 in the database as any hash type, so if I know the algorithm behind algorithm where I have used in encrypting, so I can use that backtracking approach to decrypt that hash password. But to enhance this type of security, we use salts. Like if I do not have what salt that was used. Salt is nothing but just a sequence of characters, some security key that I can use to hash the passwords. So if I do not have that salt, if I know the encryption algorithm, I cannot decrypt that. So the basic operation of JWT is sign in. To create a new hash password is the operation sign in, and to compare the original password with the hash password. Again, if we want to enhance more security of the database, like if somebody gets into our database, gets the algorithm to decrypt, and also gets the salt, so the hacker has a permanent lifelong access to our database. So we can use an expiry feature of JWT. Like JWT does what? It creates a token. That token is transferred to the user, and whenever the user gets that token, he can use for further authentication. So we can do one thing. We can expire that token in a limited period of time, so that the hacker does not get all time access to our database. So now I will head towards the project demonstration part. Before demonstrating how my project is working, I would just show you the working of the server code. Like we have a courses file. The courses file authenticates a user if a user wants to enroll or deregister from a course. I'll show you. Like there is no need of authentication of a user when a user wants to view some courses or add a new course. Like courses view or courses adding is a public process, so there is no need of authentication in that. So I have just hit a get a request. So to post a new to get the list of all the courses we have currently in our database. So those who know the basics of MySQL, select star from courses, we will get all the courses in this result uh, variable, and all these courses will be printed to the client. Again, if we want to get some course by specific ID, then we check for which ID we are getting the course, and if a course is found, so we get that course. If no course is found, we raise an error. There is no course with this ID. Again, if we want to post a new course, we can just like name and available slots is a required attribute of every course. So if all the things goes correct, if the payload is correct, the codes are inserted into the database, else an error is raised. Like this, we enroll the students, and all the checks are also performed here. If the course does not exist, we cannot enroll, or if a student is already enrolled in this course, then it raises also raises an. If there are no slots available in this course, then also raises an. If everything goes okay, we add the enrollment of the student with this course and update the courses, like available slots are reduced. So for the task of enrollment, we need authentication of the user, so I have added authenticate here as a middleware. Again, if our user wants to deregister from a course, we can check if the course exists, then if a student is actually enrolled in this course or not. Like if I want to deregister from the course, I must be enrolled in that course. If I am not enrolled in that course, I cannot deregister from it. If everything goes fine, we just delete the enrollment and update the available slots value. So for the students part, students can do two things. Either he or she can view his or her details from the get request. So select start from students, where the username matches with my username. I cannot view any other users or any other students details, so I can only view details from my username. And also, if I want to delete myself from this enrollment course, so I can delete that if the token has expired, like if I am logged out or something, so it raises an error, I am logged out. So these things work. And the authentication task is the sign up process. Sign up is a new user creation, so it's a post request, and login is also a post, because like we are alternating the access tokens. So if when we sign up a new user, these are the required attributes, like username, name, age, sex, stream, and password. So I have used the bigcrypt.hash here for a sort of 10 length to hash that password and store that password in the database. I will show all these things afterwards. So if the user already is signed up with this username, then we cannot sign up a new user, else we sign up a new user if everything goes okay. Again, same for the login. We get the user, and we compare his original password with the password entered at this time. So for the database part, we have the CRUD database with three tables: students data, courses data, and the enrollment data. For now, I have a already enrolled student. I will show you how to enroll a new student. An already enrolled student has a username Sagar as Guglani 1, and these are some courses: math, science, commerce, Node.js, and Algo. And these are some slots available, like 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 10, 2, and 3. For now, the enrollment is an empty set, like this student is not enrolled to any of this. So yes, I have used Postman for the client side requests. I will request this server, like server is already started, we are successfully connected to the database connection is done from here, localhost root, the password and the database. So this Postman client will hit this server request on the port 4000, localhost 4000, and this server will communicate with this database, and we get the required attributes we want to see. Like for example, if we want to get all the courses, like I want to display to the client list of all these courses, so I will just go for the get API and send the request to the server. And it lists all the courses we have in our database. Like Algo, we have 3 slots. And if we want to view some course by specific ID, like we are sending only I want to view this course, a specific course from a specific ID, we can get course by ID, and from parameters I can pass a value 2 or 1, like we want to pass the ID of that course we want to see. So ID is 2, name is arts, and available slots is 1, and no student is enrolled. So if in the database for now we have 6 courses, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I put a bad request, like say I want to view a course that has an ID 6 that does not exist, so we get an error, no course found for this ID. So let's just add a new course. We can name this course X, and we can add some available slots. Like this one is understandable by us, but the machine does not understand what is 1. So it will throw an error like 1 is not a valid natural number because it's a string. So we will pass we want to have available slots as 3 or 2 available slots. Send, the course is added. So this was the task where we do not involve any authentication. But if we want to enroll a student in the course, so we need to create a new user, or if the user is already created or signed up, we can log in that user. So let's create a fresh user. We have a user with S Guglani 1. So I will create a new user with the username S Guglani 2, and the name will be Sagar 2, age 16, and password will be like password for now. So if we just hit a post request, we have get our access token. So we can this is the access token provided by the JWT authentication. We can use this access token to perform any further task. I will just copy this access token so I can use that further. So now if I just hit this sign up again, it will throw an error because a user with the same username exists. So if I send this, a student with username already exists. So for now I have already logged with this username, but I can show you again how a login works. Username and password are the required attributes. So like for now I will if the database updated, so I will hit this query to print all the users. Select star from students. So select star from students. So a user is added, S Guglani 2. So we have two users, S Guglani 1 and S Guglani 2. If I try to log in a user with username S Guglani 3, so it will raise an error because no student with this username exists. So I will just log in with S Guglani 2. Okay, the password was actually password, not 1, 2, 3, 4. Password. So the password is correct, and we have got the authentication token. I'll just copy and use this one. So if I want to enroll in a course, if I just view all the courses, the course with ID 0 has 2 available slots, and course with ID 2 has only 1 available slot. So I will enroll in course with ID 2, and we need to provide the authentication token here, and if we do not provide an authentication, so it will raise an error, token value required as authentication under header. So I will paste my authentication token here so that I can enroll. the student has enrolled successfully. We will check the database for the enrollment column. Okay, the course ID 2 and the student Sagar S. Guglani 2 is enrolled in the course ID 2. Earlier, the ID 2 had available slots 1. If I check this course again, its available slots is 0 because that one slot is occupied by me and enrolled students as the list as Guglani 2. So in this manner we can enroll a student. I will try to enroll S. Guglani 1 student in this same course. We do not have available slots, but let's just try. I will just log in S. Guglani 1. Password was 1234. I get my access token. Copy that. Enroll in the same course with ID 2 and with the new access token of S. Guglani 1. No slots available for this course. So I will just enroll this user in a new course ID 1 and that has available slots 2. So enroll that student in the course ID 1. Enrolled successfully. Now if I want to deregister this student from this course, like let's check the database first. The course ID 1 has a student S. Guglani 1. If I want to deregister this student from course 1, so I have my authentication token for S. Guglani 1 in the clipboard. So for the course 1, I will deregister with my authentication token. Send. Student unregistered successfully. If I try to unregister again, it will throw an error because there is no student currently enrolled in this course because I have already deregistered this. So no student with this ID is enrolled in this course. So for now we have only one student enrolled as Guglani 2 in the course ID, and the students we have authenticated are 2 and courses status is this. So I will just delete this student to show you how the delete request works. I will just delete S. Guglani student from my program, and what will happen, it will get automatically disregistered from this course ID. Like for now it has available slot 0 and enrollment has course ID 2 as Sagar 2. I would delete this student. I have my authentication. I need to authenticate this again. Student again. Password was password. Okay. Got the access token. Delete the student. Student deleted successfully. If I try to delete it again, no access token has expired because I am already deleted. So let's hit the database again. For now the courses, earlier the courses ID 2 had course ID 2 had available slot 0. Now the course ID 2 had available slots 1 and the enrollment would be empty because there is no student enrolled in any course, and also student is deleted from the students database. So this is the simple working of how a CRUD works for connection between client, server and databases. The database used here is MySQL database, and for authentication I have used JWT authentication, and to validate what all inputs I have entered here, like name, username, all these are required attributes. So also we can show you how the password for S. Guglani 1 was 1234. So it is stored in form of this hash, encrypted password. So if any user gets into my database, he does not understand what is this password. So yes, this is the working of the CRUD API.